let's take a quick look at some of the items that we found. This is interesting. This is actually an old Pepsodent toothpaste tube. It says here, the Pepsodent Company. It looks like Chicago. You can see it right there, Chicago. And then it says, the Pepsodent Company. So this is obviously fairly old because the whole top of this old toothpaste tube is made of metal. So that's what it picked up, was this old metal cap on the toothpaste tube. So that's rather interesting. And then we came up with what appears to be an old window crank, possibly, from an automobile. Not sure what era. It's chrome plated. I can see the peeling chrome there. So we came up with that. And then we have the random pieces of iron. And heaven only knows what this started as, because I've noticed here in the yard with this sandy soil, the really old iron relics or artifacts, if you will get this bloom of iron around them as they oxidize in the sand. And sometimes they come out looking like sculptures with these rounded edges and balls and chunks on them. In reality, it may simply be a bolt or a nut or something like that. Well, we also picked up a couple of old either nails or bolts. This one's probably a nail, and I suspect this might be. But you can see they're pretty well corroded. They were in the ground a long time. The house dates back to the Civil War era. This is 1883 for the house, but the property itself was here before that, and just down the street is a building that was a Civil War hospital and changed between the North and the South over time. And let's see what else we have. Well, we have another chunk like an iron nail and another one of those little blooms that obviously used to be something but turned into just a mass. And then, of course, we have our famous flip tabs. And you know what? In another, say, couple of 100 years, maybe sooner, this in and of itself might be valuable. Who knows? Of course, I certainly have found enough of them, so I guess I'm a future millionaire, if you will. But that's just where I've been in about the last 20-25 minutes playing out here in the yard. Haven't found any coins yet today, but I may take the opportunity and search around for some. But what I'm really trying to do is to clear a lot of this kind of stuff out so that I can keep going over the yard and in time get better and better finds. And that's why in the last couple of days I did pick up that V-nickel. And I did pick up that Walking Liberty $50 because they were small sections that I had already cleaned out a lot of the trash. And for all of this, I've been using a Tesoro Compadre. And I usually have headphones, but I've been using it this way today because the headphones are driving me nuts. And they were an inexpensive set, and I was on the phone with Kellyco earlier today, and I ordered a set of the headphones that just has one side to it so I can hear surrounding noises and such as things might come toward me, traffic or whatever. So if I'm halfway in the street, I won't get hit by a car. But the Compadre is doing a remarkably good job. I'm very, very pleased with it. And as an inexpensive detector, it's really hard to beat. And of course, I've got my trusty Garrett Pro Pointer, and you can see it's well worn. And without this, there's a lot of things I wouldn't have found, so this little tool here is pretty indispensable. The other things you always want to have with you, and what I find helpful, has been my Leshy digging tool. And as you can see, it's well worn, been through a lot of soil and sand here in Florida. It's holding up and it's doing a good job. The other tools that I have, this is a soil knife. And these things are put out by A.M. Leonard. They import them from Italy. If you want to cut sod, look at the edge on that thing. This little son of a gun can move through soil. It's got a depth gauge on it. Very popular tool with gardeners, but I really like it if I have to slice a plug and be very neat about it. It cuts sharp edges, and it goes cleanly through roots and things like that without a problem. So another tool that I find pretty much indispensable. And then the other newer tool that I have is just this long digging tool. And this is a 2-inch wide model. And this is nice when I get a little bit deeper hole. I can scoop things out and clear it out in a hurry. So those tools are carried in my bucket, which I tote around the yard with me, and attempt to find good old historic coins and old stuff, and just generally enjoy the sport of metal detecting.